to see everybody today. I see Friendly Neighborhood Chick already in chat, and good to see you, Friendly Neighborhood Chick. I see your mail prepping, that's cool. Today, we are going to be painting up this gorgeous beast. This is, what's the official term for this one? This is the Death Shroud from Reaper Miniatures. Death Shroud from Reaper Miniatures. So this is going to be one of our minis today. We may wind up starting on a second one today, but this is what we're doing. A little bit of a new look for some of these screenshots. We're working on some different ways to showcase some of the stuff we do. So hopefully you guys enjoy the kind of the new look, the bigger view per se. And of course we're very excited to see everybody here today too. So let's see what we got going on here. Let me get my mic adjusted slightly. Hopefully I'm coming in nice and clean. You guys can hear me okay. I'm excited to hear from everybody too. So what are we prepping today, Friendly Neighborhood Chick? What are we prepping today? All right. I am working right today off of Technical Nighthaunt Gloom. That is all I'm going to be applying to this bad boy, except for the stone that will be at the base here. So my goal is just to create a haunting-like effect and then move on to the next miniature. We'll be using the Wargamer Regiment brush. Let's get this thing going. Chicken Caesar salads for lunches. Ooh, I like salads as long as there's meat with them. That's usually my thing. I don't really like salad if there's no meat. Alrighty, let's see here. We'll start with the inside because we're going to be a little darker on the inside. Turn the music down just a smidge. It's covering my vocals just a bit. I will be happy to do that, and there's a cool way I can do that. There we go. There we go. So hopefully you guys can hear me better now. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn that off because we're no longer doing that promotion. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. So hopefully you guys are just out there killing it today. I was doing a lot of editing today as well, and then I also had my Army Reserves training, so I was doing a lot of Army stuff today too. So okay, now from here we go thin it down just a smidge. Oopsie. And then after I get this one done, I'm going to be working on this beast today, which is going to be the next Duergar hero. Hero is a relative term, but basically one of their champions. You never know. There might be a good one there. Much better balance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that balance. Just gonna kill that. There we go. So my goal is to just create a really spectacular ghost effect here. Kind of a glowing blue spirit effect, if you will. Certainly some challenges on some parts of this particular miniature, but I think it's something we can overcome easily. Let's see here. So what do you do for your chicken Caesar? You do anything particularly, unique to your chicken Caesar? What all you put in that chicken Caesar there? Neighborhood check. Friendly neighborhood check. For chicken, it was baked chicken. Oh, good choice. Paprika, garlic, basil, salt, and pepper. Ooh, I love me some seasonings. That's hot. I don't care who you are. That's hot right there. You can never go wrong with grilled chicken in your chicken Caesar, and then baking it is even better. Fruit prep for snack. Ooh, what are we fruit prepping? I'm all down with fruit prep. Some painters are really good. Can't have a grill in your apartment. Oh, that's true. Apartments can be rough like that. But I like baking it. I do like baking it, you know. I'm big on baking chicken. Berries, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. Ah, sounds amazing. You know, there's a Costco frozen setup that you can get that's really good. They've got some stuff. I usually make smoothies out of those when I can get them. On those rare days when I can get fresh fruit or frozen fruit from Costco. What do you do to prep your fruit? Do you just basically stick it in a cup and mix them up so you have different berries, or are you like doing something a little more involved? The whole base with the icy blue? No, not the whole base. The whole model from the neighborhood check. This thing is going to be ghostly. So the way this paint dries is the recesses will be darker and the highlights will be very bright because of the white paint underneath. It's a unique technical paint that allows you to paint ghost-like effects pretty good. To really achieve the ghost-like effect, though, you got to water the paint down a little bit and go real thin. And I want it to just be a little grim. They make this in both a ghost-like blue and a ghost-like green color. And this blue color is called Nighthaunt Gloom, and I think the other one is called Hexwraith Flame. And I don't have to be, because I'm just really hitting the whole model, I don't have to be really delicate with how I do this. It's get it in, get it done, you know, in this case. Which is good, right? If I was having to fade this in with like metal bits and stuff on this model, like certain other miniatures might have, like you might have a ghost that's carrying like chains and stuff, or a weapon of some sort, then I would either make the weapon ghostly as well, or I would have to do a little more concerted effort to avoid how much I just spread this on. I'd have to be a little more diligent, slow my roll a bit. Is there any sheen to it? No, it'll dry very matte. Very good question. This stuff dries pretty matte, so it looks, instead of glossy, it'll look very flat in color. It won't be reflective. So, really good questions to ask. What else is going on? So I don't know how I'm going to use this miniature yet, but you'll always have an opportunity to use a ghost at some point. And ghosts are great miniatures in TTRPGs, especially if they have the ability to possess other characters, because then, especially then, my friends, you have some pretty cool options to take over a character and then use it against them, their friends, with everything it's got. Just part of what we do. Viscosity level of the paint is, when we're done thinning it down, it's like water. It's like melted ice cream. It's pretty thin to begin with, but we really do hit that up a notch at that point. Almost done here. Let's see here. Is it smooth layer? Does it go gather more in the creases and thinning it out? Do you do that for effect or ease of painting, or both? So a couple different things. Good questions. I like your questions today, Friendly Neighborhood Check. You're becoming my new favorite person today. I go really thin where I can. I might go thicker, or not thicker, but more layers in the darker, insides of this beast. But the thinner you go, the better, because I want some of that white to show through. It kind of creates the glow-like effect on this particular ghost, right? But the thinner you go, the better stuff may show. as you do it. And also, you know, hitting it with multiple layers as you go, and then going from thick to thin as you tease it out is also useful at creating the effect. It's one of those things that helps to play with it a little bit to see how it works. But it certainly has its options. In my case, hold on a second here. You know, always going thinner and then working your way up is better. I went a little heavy on the inside here because I want it to be a little darker versus the outside edges. But it's starting to get to the effect I want. And then as it dries, it'll get really thin and pool and collect. It's kind of like a wash in some respects, but it's the way it works, specifically as a technical. Getting a little trouble here. It could be something with the miniature itself. There we go. And yeah, you thin it out because you want to have control as well. That's a big part of it. Going thinner is always better. There we go. And last step here on the head. Boom. That should get all the little white spots on it. Maybe a little bit more here, right here in this little spot down here. And that is complete. So, kind of show you a little bit here. It'll focus eventually. There we go. And you'll see that effect carry over on the back as well. As it dries, it'll become more and more pronounced as it goes, so we'll see. It gets lighter as it dries. This is one of the beautiful qualities of this particular paint, is it gets lighter as it dries. All right, but it takes a little while to dry, so we'll let that dry while I step back in here and switch over to this lovely Duergar. Duergar are known as well, they're Underdark dwarves. So we'll see what we got here. Looks like a bit of metal for the helmet, bit of metal for the hammer. Ooh, I'll probably do the hammer in that same stone style I did before. You get a pretty heavy duty gauntlet and elbow set. And plate metal for the chest piece. So here's another one I did earlier. So I will probably do a similar series with this guy. Now this one still needs some darkening. We're going to hit it with a dark wash later, but I want to keep it consistent across the board. And you can see the way I did the hammer with that darkness with green on it. So we'll bring that back up a notch as well. Create that same effect, if you will. Alrighty. So with this one, we're going to start with plate mail metal. No, I primed this one black, so it was primed with a matte black. Thank you for asking. That's a good question. Really, really good question to ask. I prime all my models. There is almost never a model I won't prime. It's just the way to do things. So when you're knocking this stuff out, you gotta really get that down. Adjust this camera slightly. There we go. So, priming your models kind of critical to happiness and success. So it's what we do. And then for that also, what was the purple I used on this? Was it alien purple? Yeah, I think it was alien purple with oozing purple wash. Yeah, and then from there I had purple tone. Yep, which I will be using to wash it a little bit. And then for the white, stone gray. I think I'm going to leave this guy's hair a dark black color and just see how grumpy he winds up looking at the end of the day. All right. No, stone gray. My favorite primer method, spray. It's going to always be spray. It'll be probably the Army Painter sprays. They're color matched to the Army Painter paints of the same name. They work really well. I would always spray. I use six positions when I do that. It's kind of the critical factor for what we do for that stuff, and I just think it looks better that way. So that's just me. Boom. All right, so for that, I'm gonna go, wow, a little bit here. Set here. All right. So I typically start with metals first when I work on a mini, because metals are easy to cover back up usually, and it just works that way for me consistently. So if I get a little bit of spillage, I can always cover it back up, especially if I'm dry brushing metals. And usually I do. In this case, we're going to go straight up base color, because I want this to be a rich metallic on here. Again, we're also taking questions from anybody else out there. You're welcome to ask questions, find out more about what we do and how we do it. And also just nerd out and tell us what you're doing, like, Friendly Neighborhood Chick was telling us about meal prep. I like meal prep. I used to have I'd have 15 to 20 tubs set up, little disposable tubs you can get from the store, that are plastic. You can microwave them, you can store stuff in them. They're really great. And I would grill up a whole bunch of chicken, a little bit of a little smidge of rice to go with breakfast, and I would go heavy duty meal prep. Got so much done that way, and you get it all done on a Sunday, and the rest of your week goes a lot smoother for lunches. Huge part of being productive for the week. It also helps you stick to a diet if you're on one. Let's see here. Yep. Sticking to helping. Yep, exactly. Sticking to eating healthier foods. I was totally in the same mindset. It really does, because then you don't really have any choices. You're just going to pick up what's already ready to go in that tub that you've already pre-prepared. Worst case scenario is you add a little bit more seasoning to it or something, you know. So usually a lot easier to stick to your diet there. Speaking of diets, I think I got a little bit of heartburn right now. Not sure what's causing it. There we go. This guy is super heavily armored, so he is probably one of the tougher nuts to crack here if they gotta fight this guy in a game of Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, you know. No, not from Baby Bell Cheese. No, the heartburn is probably from the protein shake I made myself earlier today. I didn't have lunch. I had a protein shake instead as a meal replacement. I've got to be careful with this because this guy has a hell of a mustache and beard and long mane of hair, and I don't want to get that on accident. Protein shake with acids and peppers. Yeah, probably. It's really tasty though. All these spikes, man, I just can't get them enough of them. Let's see here. If I hit the beard, would you be able to cover that with a different color, or would you metallic shit through? When I hit the beard, I can easily cover up beard. Metallics are easier to cover than vice versa, right? Using metallics to cover something else is a lot harder, at least in my experience. And you know, there's probably people who know better than me, but Based on what I'm working on here, it'll be easier enough to cover up the silver with, say, Blackbeard, more black from that. So. So, as I keep working here, reds are often very tough to cover up, so you got to be careful with reds. And I usually am quite careful with reds. But reds can also be one of the best colors to work with once you learn it. I've probably said this on a few shows. Red is the smallest pigment, so it'll show through a lot of different things. So you gotta be careful how you bring it up. When and if you decide to use it. Okay, I think that's almost done here. Just gotta get this side bit right here. Next up, the hat. This guy's got some crazy eyebrows too. Some seriously crazy eyebrows. I hope my eyebrows never grow out that bushy. Jackman Rooney, good to see you, buddy. Sorry I didn't get a chance to spot you sooner. Trying to really concentrate on this, and that's the tough part sometimes, is when you're trying to engage everybody and still do a great job on your mini. Some people are better at. I'll get the hang of it eventually. You guys are rocking. What you working on, Jackman Rooney? Anything cool today? Talk me through your day today. That friendly neighborhood chick is doing a lot of cool stuff with meal prep. So if you're looking into some meal prep tips, she's talking. There we go. And I am also going to leave the top of this not silver because I'm going to hit it with a bronze color probably. Oh yeah, Monday is tomorrow. Monday's a busy day for a lot of folks tomorrow, including me, so. Go to a little weapon bronze here. I don't need a lot of weapon bronze, I only need a little bit of weapon bronze. And I'm doing the top spikes on the front of his helmet in weapon bronze as well. So that'll be a nice contrast to the plate mail metal that's already showing. Now, should I do the rest of the spikes in that same bronze color? Is my head that cold all the time? Yeah, it's actually pretty cold. I mean, like, no hair. Boom. I'll just leave it off for a little bit so you guys get an eyeful. Yeah, it's starting to grow back though. You can see the hair coming back in. You know, it feels like the top of a pool table, like nice and felt everywhere. So that's kind of cool. But other than that, it's pretty chilly. Yeah, yes to the bronze on the spikes. Okay, well then that's what we're gonna do here. That neighborhood check, or that friendly neighborhood check has spoken, and it shall be done. Uh-oh. I can cover that. That's no problem. Yeah, just make it a little easier here. There we go. And I've got the metal surrounding this particular hammer is going to be holding something, probably something pretty arcane and scary in terms of a stone for this hammer. That is spooky, to say the least. Let's see here. Just remember that you were saving in shampoo. Yeah, I'm saving so much money in shampoo. It's so noticeable. The issue is every time I go outside, I have to cover my head for fear of getting sunburned. Because I don't think the top of my head has seen that little hair in quite a bit. I mean, I've had my head shaved quite a few times, but not like that in a long time. Alright, let's get those other spikes. What's everybody else working on? Anybody want to share their projects? I'd love to hear what you guys are working on. I'm always about it. Hold on 1 second here, guys. Be right back. Okay, let's see here. Ow! Oop! I just shook the whole thing because I banged my knee. That is the opposite of pleasant. That hurt. Ow. Oh, getting every one of these tedious little spikes is going to be worth it though in the end. Boom, boom. Get these spikes done. Let's see here. What are you painting on canvas these days? Because I've seen some of your work before in the past. Friendly neighborhood check. What colors are we going to be working with this time around? Alright, one arm done. Moving to the next arm. What do we got here? The inspiration ebbs and flows, to be honest. Yeah, you know, I get that too, even with miniatures. I can feel that. That's part of the craft. Never to paint when upset. You can ruin a canvas that way. Do you beat the canvas into submission? Here we go, get these elbow spikes. Man, I can just imagine, like, the thing I can't imagine is fighting with all these spikes on. Like, how do you not, like, get them in the way of yourself? I mean, like, this guy's not as bad as some models I've done, but some models I've done, I'm just like, how do you even move yourself? What do we got here? Ripped a canvas once when I was painting one upset. Yeah, you know, I mean, like, don't do that. You know, put on some, you know, EMM and, you know, find some Zen and paint then. Let the challenges happen at that point, you know. EMM is not Zen music? Oh man, this depends on what you bring your Zen to, you know? Maybe some Trent Moeller. Maybe some, I don't know, for Zen music, what is it? There's a lot of stuff that does stuff for me. Like Joe Walsh can really get me some in the mood to chill, you know? Let's see here. A little correction here where I got a little too much on the sides there. And also do a little bit of Rolling Stones. That can bring me some Zen. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to add color to the clothing. We're going to tweak up the beard, do his skin, and then we're going to work on the magic that is the stone on his hammer. So, hang in there. Recheck those recommendations for Zen music. Oh, yeah, you know, I mean, you know, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, we will be right back.
Hi, it's me, Scalathrax. When I'm not rampaging the world and trying to destroy everything in sight, I'm rampaging for new 5th edition monsters for my dungeons. And whether you need scuttling dungeon denizens, alien horrors, or sentient avatars of the World Tree, the Creature Codex has you covered. Nearly 400 new foes for your 5th edition game. Everything from acid ants and grave behemoths to void giants and zombie lords. 424 pages of monsters. They include a dozen new demons and 5 new angels, wasteland dragons and dinosaurs, all new golems which include the Altar Flame Golem, the Doom Golem, and Keg Golem. And who doesn't want a few extra Keg Golems around their dungeon party? There's also elemental lords and animal lords to challenge powerful parties, chieftains and other leaders for ratfolk, centaurs, goblins, trollkin, and much more. New undead including a Hierophant Lich to menace lower level characters, and so much more. Use them in your favorite published setting, or populate the dungeons of your 5e world of your own creation. Pick up a Creature Codex from koboldpress.com today and surprise your players with monsters they won't be expecting.
Hey, thanks for watching the show. It looks like you're having a great time. Let me tell you really quick about That Many's Paint Show. Every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every show, the host and their guests will be painting miniatures live on stream. They'll walk you through all the different techniques and products they use to paint miniatures to a high standard in a quick and easy fashion. They'll show you all the different things live, and on top of that, the audience gets to ask questions, and we're going to answer them live on stream. If you've always wanted to learn how to paint miniatures, this is a great way to do so. And on top of that, you can paint while you're painting with us too, and chat with us and tell us about your projects and share your pictures of your miniatures as well. We love it when people share their miniatures with us. So remember, That Many's Paint Show, every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on the Games Tavern Network.
Well, hello there. I'm Nartimus, Archmage of the High Order. And when I'm not busy foiling Scalathrax's plans to destroy the entire world, I'm sending adventuring parties out to scour for new tomes and knowledge of magic. That's why I want to tell you about this. Deep Magic, a tome from Kobold Press. Their kobold minions have traveled the plains seeking the secrets of magic. They've unearthed ancient tomes of forgotten civilizations, bargained dangerously with demons and creatures of the void, and have even scaled the towers of Shadowfey mages to unlock their secrets. Deep Magic includes such wonderful topics such as dragon magic, elven high magic, ooh, I gotta get me some of that, shadow magic, battle magic, and angelic wards. Additionally, it includes such rare knowledge on ley lines, void magic, illumination magic, rune magic, and clockwork magic, as well as topics on time magic, hieroglyph magic, mythos magic, elemental magic, winter magic, and my personal favorite, alchemancy. Now, they pass along their hard-won knowledge to you in Deep Magic, an arcane series for 5th edition. Here you'll find new schools of magic, arcane traditions, new and variant spells, magical feats, spell-slinging NPCs, and so much more. This book is 356 pages of pure magic. This will keep your campaign fresh and your adventurers guessing for years to come. You can buy it now at koboldpress.com.
Okay, and we're back, guys. Thanks for waiting and hanging out with us a little bit. As we kick back off, what we're going to be doing again is we're going to be kind of taking it back a little bit, slowing things down. The metallics are done, but now, well, most of the metallics are done. I found a little bit I gotta still hit. But what we're going to do right after this little bit of metallics that I just spotted I need to get done is we're going to be doing some cloth and some different beard and skin tones and just getting it knocked out. Go. So our next step is to knock out these the clothing and the hair. So you can see the clothing dragging behind him right here underneath this metal. I don't know how much the light's going to really show that, but you can see it right there. And then you can see his hair, which is kind of glossy, and I don't want it glossy, I want it a little more matte, so we're going to use the black paint on that. And then we're going to tweak out the hammer a bit and give it kind of this interesting greenish stone look that's going to be a little more otherworldly, if you will. So Trent Moeller for see, you know, Trent Moeller can bring you some zen. Let me check the music volume on this a little bit, make sure that that's a little more. There we go. Is that too loud? How we doing on that? Yeah, I'd play Trent Moeller, except that, you know, it'd be a DCMA violation somewhere, I'm sure, if I did, so I just can't do that. All right, we're going to go with skin tones here, so we're going to start with Stone Golem. And the reason we're doing skin tones first is for one reason and one reason alone. I can cover it back up if I get any on the beard, with the beard stuff when I get done. Let's see here. There we go. I need to wet that down just a bit. There we go. Again, we're wetting this down to get it to the same consistency of melted ice cream. So I'm actually switch the brushes on this a little bit here, depending on how this goes. Because I don't have a lot of working room here. There's very little room for error. And yes, I can cover stuff back up, but that doesn't mean I want to do that over and over again. Going with a slightly thinner brush. I'm going with the Wargamer detail brush. Go a little bit there. Do I use water to thin it out or another method? I use water almost without fail. Like there's nothing else I really need. You can use like Floqual and other cool stuff like that should you need it. But that's not a necessity. That's a nice to have, not a requirement to have kind of thing. Getting his scrunched up face and his ear and his little cheek. I rue the day I become too old for this. Because so much fun will be taken from me at that point. There we go. Get that cheek under there. And again, I will do this with multiple layers if need be to achieve the color effect that I need and go real thin. It is almost invariably better to do it that way. To go thinner rather than thicker. The challenge at this angle becomes, where does the face stop and the hair start? And I think I see it right there. Sometimes a mini's pose is amazing, but the ability to paint it is such a pain. Hitting the side one more time to get a little more color. And we're going for the lips and teeth, apparently. I used to do everything primed black, and then I had this white phase where I did everything primed white, and now I kind of do a little bit of both. But I tell you, there are days where I prefer white over black, because as you paint things, you really discover how hard it can be to see things when you have all black as the only layer you can see as you're beginning to apply the paint. Get the inside of that mouth there a little bit. I'm gonna have to do some adjustments on his mustache, but I think we got what we were looking for to achieve there. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we did. You can see the face, the skin there. He's got quite the nose. Looks like he's had his nose broken a few times. Can you turn the music down a little more? When you speak more softly, it's a little harder to hear, at least from my perspective. It could be the frequencies. You know what it probably is? I need to just raise my voice. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to lower the mic, and I'm going to raise my voice. You can hear the dulcet tones of me talking away as we get this painting on. All right, so the next step is we're going to do a little bit of purple. Yay, purple. We're going to start with alien purple, and then what we'll do is we'll work our way up a little bit, go a little darker as we need to. Shake this. I almost didn't shake it. With my smooth jams. Yeah, you know, I tell you, it's all about the smooth jams. If you guys want to hear something different, just give me a heads up. I'll try to put something different on a little bit for you guys. I'm all about what makes the audience happy. So. Let's see here. All right, so with the purple on black, we know we're gonna have to layer this up because you're talking about two dark colors, but the purple has to show, and you really don't want to glop it on there, especially on cloth, because if you do, it will not show very well. So in order to make this work, you got to go slow and deliberate, and you got to layer it up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to layer it up. And the reason I'm using the purple is that just seems like a color that you don't see very often outside of royalty. So if a group in particular is using it for their banners and stuff like that, it's kind of uniform across it. Plus, I think reds and blues are overdone on certain things, and I think that's a purple is a rather unique color that would be really good with Duergar versus the earthy browns and other colors and bronzes and metals that you see on certain dwarves that are a little higher up in the subterranean layers, like hill dwarves and mountain dwarves. So, I'm not the only person out there with an opinion, but I think that because I have a whole bunch of these to paint up, my goal is to make it work here. No, I'm not mixing the purple. The color that you might see it next to is dried completely, so it's not actually mixing on the palette. I actually need to wash my palette out here at some point. And I don't care if I get any purple on the base like I am now, as long as I get the cloth and not the metal. My goal is I will cover this base up here in a little bit with something else anyway. Probably a subterranean stone of some sort. And the reason I'm doing there's another thing I'm doing here, because I'm doing, multiple heroes first. We set the tone with the heroes, and then we see these things will be echoed throughout the rest of the line troops when I get them done for this particular batch of stuff. So, as they get completed, you'll see the one common color across all of them will probably be the purple. You'll probably see the plate mail metal across it, but consistently, like, this guy is going to be a heavy-duty champion. He's carrying a great weapon. He's got better armor than almost anybody else, I think, that I see out here. He's kind of a big deal, whoever this guy is going to be. And I am totally taken with this model, and I love it. It is from... Who made this? I think this is from... A World of Darkness, or no, not World of Darkness, Massive Darkness, the box set, Massive Darkness box set. From Simon Games. It is a superb miniature. Some time to dry so we can layer on the next layer out right behind that. Let me take a picture of this for social media. Let's see here. Ugh. The challenges we face. So, what other projects are you guys working on, or what do you guys want to see done? I'd love to hear from you guys and get some more insight as to what you guys are wanting to hear more about or see from miniatures painting perspective. Go. Not hearing from anybody out there, so if you're out there, please say hello. Let me know that you're there, and we'll be showing you our painting here shortly as we continue on with this Duergar miniature. Oh yeah. So if you're not watching our social media, you should be. Check it out right there. You guys can check out our social media. You'll see the kind of stuff that we post on the regular. Hey, Operation Supply Drop, thank you for following me today on social media. So let's see here. What do we gotta do next here? I'm gonna hit that dark color one more time. Bring that up just a little bit more. Get it nice and ready. And it's just literally just getting it across the cloth here and just hitting it one more time. In particular, making sure that the deep recesses, because this is going to be my darker color, are covered nice and evenly. Not too much in the recesses, not too much on the top. The top is going to get a brighter highlight. The recesses are probably going to have a darker shading when the purple wash goes on. Just going to make it smooth across the board. There we go. All right, that second coat really did the trick. I didn't expect it to go on that smooth and that well, but it did. All right. Wash that for a minute. And do something else here real quick. Okay, we're going to try this one next. See if this brings it up a notch here for the music beats. Alright, while we're waiting for the purple to dry, we're going to switch over to the black that we're going to use for the hair. So the mustache, the beard, all that stuff, it's going to go to a black color that's going to be matte. For that, we just pull matte black and go to town on the hair. Now I could make this guy a gray beard, but I want him angry and young. I don't know why, I just do. So that's what we're gonna go with. Probably won't need a lot of black, but I will need just enough. So let's get this done. Alrighty. So my goal is to go nice and slow and deliberate, not make any errors and cover up armor that I'm not supposed to be. Just cover up beard that I'm supposed to be covering. A little bit on the post there for this great weapon that this guy's hacking around with. A little bit angry on this mustache here. This guy has got evil guy mustache written all over him. And the same thing with his eyebrows. I guess the lesson learned is if you get your eyebrows out of control, everyone's just going to assume you're an evil bad guy, because no one in their right mind should have eyebrows this long. because I'm working with really thin black paint. I'm getting some accidental spread here, but that's why I keep this extra brush on hand to wipe away the excess, thanks to the magic of capillary action. Hey, how's it going, neighborhood chick, friendly neighborhood chick? I am doing the eyebrows and beard now in black. So, and now I'm working on his hair. Of which there is a plenty. Now with this guy's dark black hair, I'm not going to leave it jet black because you won't see all the various strands, especially when I go to photograph it. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to hit it with a dark gray highlight that will pick up the high points so you can see that there is more to this hair than just black. Right? It adds some depth, adds some pop. I mean, that could be like Vidal Sassoon and add some, you know, some volume perhaps, but I just don't think I've got the chops to simulate volume in his hair the way I would love to normally. There we go. And what you may be able to see here now versus before is the hair really doesn't have any gloss to it. You can see the highlights from the lamp, you know, showing off of it, but there's no hair highlights per se, right? So unless the hair is still wet, which in some cases it is, you're not seeing anything that should be glossy. When it dries to a matte finish. And that's very nice when you're going for that look. Okay. There we go. But Reed, what about his eyes? I hear you ask. I didn't actually hear that, but it is something I thought about as I looked down at it. Well, the eyes are what they are, right? And when we hit it with a wash, it'll pop those eyes just a little smidge more. And hit it with a dark tone when we do that, and that'll make those eyes pop. That should have given me enough time to have the purple dry, the alien purple. So now we're going to go with an oozing purple. And with oozing purple, that's going to be the highlights on the purple that I've already got down there. Oop, 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 oop. Some of that gray is still wet. So we're going to put the oozing purple up here. But before I put that in there, I just realized I got to shake this thing here. Yeah, the dude definitely has some Wario vibes, like all of them do. They've got these crazy eyebrows that are definitely Wario-esque. I mean, seriously reminiscent of it. Except that, you know, Wario is probably nicer than these guys are. Guys, I have a bit of pigment mixing issues here. Need to make sure it gets sorted. Alright, pull some air out. There we go, and get some of that back in there. Alright, cool. So the reason I did all that and made that big hullabaloo to get that back in there is that is the suspension fluid that wasn't mixed with the pigment, and you need that to make your paint work. So you don't want to just have your suspension fluid out and not be able to use it. Otherwise you'll just have thick pigment and it won't work. That's why you always got to mix those paints. Next up, now this is where I'm going to be very specific. I'm only going to be hitting the high points. Hold on 1 second here. That hits the high points on this, the folds of this particular batch of robes. So what it'll do is it'll create this highlight effect. So it'll look slightly brighter along these high points. And that's normal because that's reflective of the light when it hits it as well. And I'm going to go thin, and I'm going to do it multiple times. And just work it as it needs it. And go from there. And the fact that I've only got the bottom part of the robes makes this pretty easy for the most part. Because I can do thin lines here. And then when the purple wash hits, or the purple tone, it'll take down everything even that much more and make it more of a gradient. And I'm trying to go deliberately a little bit on the thin side so it only takes the very highest points. Let's face it, these guys work in mostly dark spaces. So there we go, and that's done. That was way more purple than I probably needed to do this, but it's done. There. Double check this other guy here. Yeah, you can see how we did achieve that same effect. Right here you can see the highlights and then the wash, post-wash look. Okay, so while I'm waiting on those highlights to dry, because I can't hit it with the purple tone while the paint's still wet, it will just go everywhere if we do that. And we don't want that. So what we're going to do next is we are going to go ahead and hit the dark tone. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to hit that hammer a little bit. So first I need to hit the hammer with a little bit more black because I had some metal get onto the black bits. We can't have that. Thin to mat this hammer down a bit. I need... How is the ghost? Well, the ghost is looking pretty good. So if you take a look-see here, he's pretty ghosty. You can see the highlights showing through. We can probably hit him with a little bit more of a just a touch up here and there in case there's any white spots that didn't quite get what it needed to. But for the most part, I just got to do the base and it's done. The ghost in this case was kind of like an appetizer for everything else we're going to be doing here. So, and I've been doing a lot of undead lately, so I was just kind of like, I need to get ghost done, but it's something I can get done quick. But I'm kind of, you know how you were like talking earlier, Friendly Neighborhood Chick, about you know, the muse has to hit you for when you're painting. Well, sometimes it's good to switch things up, and in this case, to switch things up, I switched back to Duergar, and you know, I'm not painting another undead today, so. Alright, that's done. So the hammer's done with that black. Let the hammer dry a bit. Now while the hammer's drying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the stone notches here. I want them black so they match the hammer when I get done with them. As if the hammer was poking, the stone of the hammer was poking out a smidge from these metal holders, as if this was part of what was holding it in place. And after that, we're going to use dark tone on the face and the armor. Alright, so now, switching over to here, we are going to pull dark tone wash. It's fantastic. It's magical talent in a bottle. Let's see if we can get it to... There we go. Latest nerdy thing for you. Fountain pens and inks, not just meal prep. Really? Fountain pens and inks, huh? Talk me through that. What are you doing? Like, what kind of special inks are you working on? Now, I've got to be careful because I can see where I put this dark tone and I see where I put it right next to this black that's still wet too. So I have to be careful not to hit that black when I start going to do this wash. So I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. And the idea is that this dark tone will get into the details of this particular model and weather it a bit. So you'll see some shading and antiquing kind of show through. This helmet has a little bit of damage done to it. I'd like to see that a little more anyway, so this works out. And I'm focused almost exclusively on the armor for this, and metal bits. I don't want to get this on the hair though, because I don't want that wash effect on the hair. It just dries a little different, that's all. I don't mind having that effect near the hair, just not on the hair. And I also want to be careful not to get the dark effect and the dark tone on the purple armor, or the purple cloth, because I want to use purple tone for that to get a different type of shading effect, if you will. The other thing I drew is if I create an air bubble, I immediately go to pop it. I don't wait. It won't pop on its own, no matter how much you hope it does. Even if it does, there's probably 3 more that won't. Because if you have an air bubble on there, when it dries, you'll have this little circle on your stuff, and you don't want those circles on your stuff. Really 14 different types of inks, 5 pens. I change out colors when you feel like it. It makes taking notes at work fun, and writing in my mini journals more fun. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Hey, Kennel Dogwood, good to see you. Slides unpainted minis to me. Yeah, you know, I mean, what minis are you working on there, buddy? Or what minis do you have that you don't have painted? What can I do to show you how to do that? Because painting minis does not have to be hard. It can be fast and easy, which if you watch, I'm like literally doing this one live in right now under 2 hours. I've done 2 minis. And then I'm going to hit the face. How many do I have? Oh. Who are we talking about? Oh, you're talking to Kennel Dogwood, okay. Just realized this guy has like a wart on his nose. That's actually pretty cool. Just one more little dab of dark tone and then we'll be done with my dark tone needs here tonight. I think. Holds out hope. And that's for the metal bits here on the outside of the hammer. See, it's normally quite bright, but then when you apply the dark tone, it antiques it down quite a bit. You can now see tremendously more detail on this miniature thanks to the washes and the extra detail paints. Kennel Dogwood, that's a pretty interesting statement to say I have an addiction versus a hobby. But there we go. I don't know that I have an addiction to miniatures. I just like them. I certainly am very controlled in my acquisitions here, but you know, we'll do what we can. I mean, if you feel that's if loving miniatures is wrong, I don't want to be right. Let's see here. All right, looks like it's ready. So we're going to now pull out the purple tone. Drop some of that right there. And we're going to hit the cloth that needs that. So first going to give it a good rinse here because I don't want any dark tone wash mixing in with the purple tone. Factory deformed figures. Wow, man. I don't know that I'm the factory deformed figures kind of guy. I am more of the I want the best quality miniatures I can get my hands on, and I'm less worried about that. I mean, paint hides a lot of sins in terms of that stuff, but there are upper limits to that. It's like watching Reed paint with my contacts out. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, we're hoping the update will let me reset up the iPhone camera up here, because we had to switch it off because it kept switching off on us in the middle of the stream, and that wasn't okay. Let me see what I can do about that though. There we go. So now, working from here, you can see a little better. There we go. All right. Next up, while that's doing that, and the dark tone is drying and the purple tone is drying, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to work the hair on the beard and the hair. To do that, I'm going to pick out the darkest gray I've got, which is going to be Dungeon Gray. I'm going to thin it down really, really good, and I'm going to hit highlights on the hair. First. There we go. That's the good news, it came in really thin for me. And what I'm doing is I'm catching the curly bits where it curves, and we'll highlight with the light there. And getting all these little lines. They did a great job on the hair in particular in the back here. With all the different lines to work on. To really make it show. The question you have to ask when you're doing this is, where is the light? Where's the light coming from? That's how you get it to show. And then finally the eyebrows, because you know you can't have crazy eyebrows if you don't highlight them. Mustache. There we go. No, I didn't watch the Critical Role stream because I don't want any spoilers because I'm still catching up to Season 2. So, because Season 2 basically just ended, and there's a whole lot going on, and I think I'm on episode, like, 104 of the Season 2. So... Alright, now while all that's drying, final steps are to look at the stuff we need to do to make that hammer achieve those crazy green-like effects that make it look a little bit creepy magical. And to do that, we are going to go with a little bit of angel green and a little bit of jungle green. I know it seems crazy that we're going that wild, but then we're also going to use just a smidge of matte white as well. So you'll see when we layer it up. So we're going to start with the dark angel green, or the angel green, sorry. And oopsie, again I messed up. Go. Gotta shake this stuff. You can't just use it straight up. Ireland green, spinach green, meadow green, spring green, you know, foliage green, sage green, woodland green. Don't forget dark green, emerald green, elven green, dried green, fried green tomatoes green. No? No? Nobody? Nobody? Big key here is go real thin and just hit the edges. That is the key to doing this. Yeah. Pull this nice and thin. Go with the next set. Now we're going the back of the hammer. What's the, do you have a favorite green, guys? Is there a green that you guys just love to use on your minis? I've done quite a bit of angel green on minis before. But I am curious what you guys like. Alright, so that added the dark green to the hammer. So it just shows just a smidge, a little bit here and there, right? It's at the high points. It's kind of creating some depth. The areas that are further deeper into the hammer are going to look black. So it's going to kind of create this edge and almost translucent effect, like a strange clear stone. This next part I have to go even thinner. I better be shaking my paint. Let's see here. When I was painting the minis, usually I can't find a color that matches exactly what you envision. Well, that's because, you know, well, sometimes you can, right? And sometimes you just need to go a little lighter, a little darker. And then I also use tricolor combinations. So you'll see a dark tone, a mid-tone, and a highlight, right? So you start with your mid-tone, you do your dark tone, and then you wash your dark tone, and then you highlight, right, to pull something up. And in my case, you'll see highlights. I'm switching to the Wargamer detail brush so I can go super thin with this. And again, this is challenging, and I've got the paint super thin too. Super thin, not super thin. And the goal is just to catch the thinnest of highlights. So you've got a little bit of that dark green showing on the edges, but the highlight edges show this lighter color in the thinnest of ways. And it won't show bright at first. Oops, I went a little thick with that. And you build up to that, right? So back to the colors you were talking about. You know, when you have a vision for a color, don't just envision a single color. Envision the gradient of color, and you might be able to hit it with what you got. Otherwise, just add a little white or a little darker color to whatever you need, and it'll show up. You might notice I'm continually bracing my hand either against this post or against my other hand that's holding the post. That gives me a steadier brush. The only other bits I need to get here are a couple areas near the crevices so they pop a little bit too, because there's chips in this stone on this thing, and I need to hit those chips so that it shows a little more. Okay. Yeah, so with handshakes, like when you're just holding your two hands together, you can't, or holding your hands apart, it's hard to keep that steadiness, right? But the minute you brace, you're working just the smallest of details, and it's a lot easier. But trying to get that brace while keeping everything else steady, you can't. But here, you're focused, you're going to be a lot tighter that way. So something to consider. And now, the coup de grace, a smidge of white. We're going to let that dry for just a smidge longer, though, before we do that. And let's see, did I do anything special with this cat size? No, I didn't yet. So, just a smidge of white. And I don't mean even much at all. It's going to be just a little dab of white, and it's going to be super thin down, and I'm going to catch various edges on that hammer to make it, and it's just literally a piece of each edge. So you get this part that kind of like catches the most highlight of the light. I'm loading the brush, but what I'm not doing is dry brushing. I am literally thinning it down, and then I'm going to hit those edges a little more. And not all of it, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Here and there. And probably only the high sides, not even the low sides of it. There we go. And there we go. It's the high points on all of these little stones here. There we go. Also checking some of these nooks and crevices where appropriate to make them show that much more. Perfect. So now you can see the stone, and I don't know if this camera is really capturing it. It's capturing that slight greenish tinge that you might see. Adds a little depth. Hey, Gamer Mom Luna. Good to see ya. Oh, you like the haircut? Yeah, well, you know, you promise in charity if you more than, you know, exceed your goals, you'll shave your head. That's what happens. What's going on, Gamer Mom Luna? Getting prepped for your show tonight? For those who don't know, Gamer Mom Luna is a friend of the show's. We're a friend of hers, and she's a friend of ours, so... So now you can see he's ready to go. The armor's been washed, the highlights have been applied, the hammer has its effects that kind of make it look like this dark greenish stone that's somewhat translucent. The only thing I gotta add to it now is a bit of a gloss to the hammer itself to get it to shine just a smidge, like a crazy green obsidian stone. That has a little bit of depth to it. And then you can see the purple highlighted beautifully as well, along with the shading. And the hair is showing up beautifully as well, thanks to the shading there. So, hey Quest Junkies UK, thank you for rating the stream here with 5 viewers. Really appreciate that. We're painting up Duergar miniatures. You can see the one I'm painting up right here. Let's see here. Take care, Gamer Mom Luna. Lucia, I haven't seen you in forever, since the charity. You can see what they did. You know, I promised I would shave my head if the charity went above our goals, and we did. So, and thank you for following Mr. Hatbeard. I appreciate it. So we're painting miniatures. What are you guys doing today? Hey, let me pause for a minute and talk to you guys. What are you guys doing today? I'd love to hear more. Mr. Hatbeard, good to see you. Really excited to see everybody. It's good to see everyone today. So stick around. We just wrapped up this guy, and we're about to go to, let's see here. So we just wrapped this character up right here. We also started with this guy who's a ghost. We're going to be doing some work on him today too, and finishing him up today. And then we might work on a little something else. I got about 45 minutes to go here. Good looking Duergar. You know what? It is. And maybe I'll do a little bit of action on his teeth here next, and so on. He's a champion. He's a champion. We're also about to finish this guy up here with a little bit of the same action. Let's see if it'll focus on them both here. Come on, camera. Work with me here. Maybe it won't. Oh well, it's not going to work with me right now. Down here. There you go. And come on. Do it for me. There we go. So this one's been washed, this one has not. So we're going to wash this one in dark tone, and you'll see it get a very similar effect here as well. So you love seeing ghosts. I hate fighting them. You know, that's kind of the point. Like we were talking earlier about ghosts and using them in Dungeons & Dragons. What's great about ghosts in D&D is that you can use them against, you can take them and possess other characters and use them against their friends, right? So who doesn't love to suddenly take all those things that they've been using against, you know, the Dungeon Masters characters and monsters and stuff, and now suddenly they're being used against their fellow players. So that wizard with Fireball, kind of helpful when he casts it right then and there in front of his own party. Alright, so this I have to be a little more careful when I go to wash this guy, because I put brown hair on him as opposed to black. So when I go to do the dark tone wash, I got to keep it off of the beard, because that will be a brown wash if any, right? But everything else, not including the purple, will get a dark tone wash, and not the gems and stuff that we've already put on this guy. And the thing I like about the dark tone wash is it creates an antiquing effect on plate mail metal when we do this. So If you're not familiar with this show, guys, if you're new here, thanks to Quest Junkies again for the raid. This is That Mini's Paint Show. That Mini's Paint Show is where we paint miniatures and talk you through it and answer your questions on painting miniatures, as well as take requests on occasion. And then we share those miniatures on the internet for the world to see and critique, because that's what the internet does. And just go from there. We also do like paint challenges and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Occasionally, I think right now we got a character challenge, which is not painting characters, but the challenge is write up a character and go with the stuff with it, and then you can provide artwork for your character as well as you see fit. And we've seen some pretty good write-ups already for that. I think Never Ending Codex has already blown me away with what he wrote. So. And now getting the hands on this guy. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Paint your dragon. Lucia, you got a dragon. Hey, Coco H, good to see you again. Hey, Roll for Alex, good to see you too. Roll for Alex, good friend of the show. We are painting Duergar for Dungeons & Dragons. And let's see here. Prime Dragon for several months. You've been so intimidated. Talk to me through your dragon. Talk me through it. What do you got? What do you got for a dragon there? Tell me all about it. And then I'll walk you through painting it if you want. Or you can walk me through what you're thinking and we'll talk about that. One trick with washes is washes can show the grain of the way you brushed, so I tend to wash away from the blade because blades tend to be a little bit shinier toward the edge, but I also keep it toward the, away, so it's always linear away from the blade. So if a blade's like this, I'm going to go across it like that. You'll find that often makes a much more, a nicer looking result. A little bit thinner there just to make sure I have the control that I'm looking for. Let's see here. Green dragon. Okay. Few different greens. Yeah. I've got a green dragon. How'd you like to paint a green dragon at the same time that I paint a green dragon and follow along? It could be arranged. By the way, if you guys are looking for paint help, you can join the Games Tavern Discord and go to the Miniatures channel and just ask, and we will walk you through things there too. Sometimes after That Mini's Paint Show, I do paint and chats after the show. You can sit in there and paint with me on Discord and tell me what you're working on. So now you can see he's toned down, but you can also see the details of his eyes. You can see his face a little more. You can see that he's really grumpy. You can see that he's probably even got boogers up his nose. Yeah, he does. This guy is an unhappy Duergar. And again, I don't know too many happy Duergar. So, but you can also see his armor is now darker and antiqued a lot more. Next up, we got to do something here with the hair. Simultaneous painting would be super cool. Yeah, and I have it right here. So let me throw this over here. So this is my green dragon that I'm working on. He's already primed. Next up, we're going to go to the color, right? So we're going to go with a slightly yellowed belly, a darker ochre belly color, and then we're going to hit all these scales and make it really pop. The toughest part's going to be the mouth to really make it look good. The eyes as well. So we got to work hard to make it look really good. So, but yeah, that's what we're going to work on here soon. Actually, give it a good wrap up. For the beard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a not dark tone, but I'm actually going to use Where is it? I thought I had a soft tone out here. You know what? Mid-brown. Yeah, I'm going to use a mid-brown. So, oops, let me switch to that. The mid-brown here. It'll pick it up here in a second. Mid-brown. Yep. Any minute now, it'll pick this up. Anyway, mid-brown. There we go. The mid-brown wash is fantastic. Fancier shaped tail than yours. Which one did you get? Where did your dragon come from, Alicia? Friendly Neighborhood Chick was talking meal prep earlier, by the way, so if you guys have meal prep questions, we were all talking meal prep because it's a great way to keep your week that much more organized. Let's see here. Mr. Hatbeard, you know, if we do that simultaneous, are you gonna come watch? You gonna come hang out with us? Because I think that would be cool. Like, hey, I'll even, you know, answer questions and suggest paints before you start, so you know what you're doing, or feel more confident. Happy to be there for anybody who wants to learn how to do more and enjoy their hobby and painting experience. So now I'm using this mid-tone brown and I'm teasing it out to the thinnest parts here. The goal of mid-tone brown is to show the shading effect, and so what'll happen is it'll dry darker in the recesses because it's a wash, and it will dry lighter on the high points. And to ensure that, I put it in and then I tease it out from the recesses or into the recesses as need be. And this guy's got some crazy eyebrows, so we wash those too. Along with some mustache hairs that are like top notch. If you could go for some mustache wax here, you probably wouldn't be looking bad. But, you know, Duergar, fiercely independent, and they do whatever they want. To heck with good looks, you know. Beard oil? I don't want no beard oil. I'd rather oil my weapons and stab goblins. I don't know. I don't know that that's how Duergar sound either, but maybe they do. Maybe they sound more like I'd rather oil my weapons and stab goblins. I don't want any stinking beard oil. I don't want to smell like some fancy pants dwarf. There we go. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and hit the brown wash on these leather pouches. Bring them out a notch or two here too. And his boots, because you know what? Boots need washing. Let's see here. You come watch? Alright, awesome. Oh, Lucia, you printed out yourself. That's cool. That's absolutely cool. You do that on an FDM or an STL printer? Sometimes I do mini painting streams, but it's difficult because these guys play in my D&D campaign. I don't want to spoil the reveals of what I'm painting. You know, that's why I paint all sorts of stuff all the time. And I don't just paint for my own streams. I paint for all sorts of stuff. So nobody's really sure what to expect. And just because that's the mini they see doesn't mean that it has the stats that they think either. So, yeah. Because I'm all about obfuscating what I'm really up to. Go. You can see him now with more detail than ever. Thanks to those washes. Washes are essentially talent in a bottle. It's often referred to as liquid cheating. Where did I put that other Duergar? There he is. I forgot. I gotta get his boots. His boots are black still, so it's time. For that, we go to our old standby, leather brown. STL, fantastic. Yeah, FDMs are pretty good for printing terrain, you know. I prefer STL for my minis when I do minis. STL just does so much better in terms of the detail level. And monster brown, werewolf brown, leather brown. Wait, do I have any other browns out here already? Nope, leather brown it is. Gotta shake those paints. Alright, there's my leather brown. Where did I pull it? Alright, let's see here. Beautiful. Got to be really careful because I already did all the purple and I don't want to have to fix anything, so go nice and slow. The only thing I'll be doing on the base of this is basing it later, so I'm okay if I get any on the base. I just don't want to get it on the purple. I'll be doing this, of course, with 2 thin layers, 2 thin coats, because that's the magic. That's how it gets done. So we don't lose any detail. Oops. Let's see here. I definitely need more terrain. You know, who doesn't need more terrain? You know what I mean? Like, more terrain is a thing. Despite us having run the campaign over video calls on stream, I still insist on real minis on real map. It's much more enjoyable. All right, Mr. Hatbeard, take care, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Come back again. See you next Sunday. Quest Junkies UK. You know, I like minis when I can too as well, but I'm flexible. Right, I use maps and tokens. I use minis. I prefer minis, of course, because it just looks cool when you can do that. And start watching our social media here shortly. You're going to see some really cool stuff being shown here in the next few weeks that we got from one of our big fans. He made something really cool for us. And you guys will get to see that in action here shortly as well. And get that off. There we go. Got some brown on my purple, but I was able to recover. Let's see here. I'm quite pleased that I have one game with online maps, one with minis, and one with Theater of the Mind for a bit of variety. Yeah, I'll use all 3. Take care, Mr. Oh, does you Quest Junkies? You're just saying goodnight to Mr. Happier too. Yeah. You guys are up quite late in the UK, right? Are you guys all in the UK right now that just came in? How many of you guys are North America versus late UK? Let that dry, we'll hit it again. I've got so many Duergar I gotta finish. What time is it there now? Is it like 10 o'clock? No, it should be like 11 o'clock in the UK. Love it. midnight. Awesome. Awesome. I love you guys for being here. You guys warm my heart. You guys are my heroes now. Let's see here. I've got to make a little bit of a fix here on something. Spotted some silver that got on some hair. It does happen. There we go. Man. Well, I just got done with Army Reserves training this weekend, and then got onto the stream as quickly as I could. I'm kind of tired. It's been a long weekend of everything they had us doing, but man, totally worth it. Oh man, oh man. So how does this work next? Okay, so for the teeth, I'm going to go a little bit on the white side. I'm not going to go with yellowed teeth. These are Duergar. They're more disciplined than that. They're not savages. They make their own weapons. They're very smart. They are regimented and almost a phalanx in war. I think that it should be reasonably assumed that they take care of their teeth. Smidge off the lips there. There we go. Let's check this cat's teeth here. Yep, he's got some teeth showing. I'd knock those out while I'm at it. And now both of these hero types are done. One with his great weapon, one with his chopper and smaller hammer. Both have the look that they need. Ready to go. Boom! Thanks, guys. Now that that's all done, what do I paint next in the next... I got about 30 minutes. I gotta check this ghost. I gotta do the base on this ghost here. It's pretty much done. Ready to go. I might do a little bit darker inside here. Because I just think it just seems appropriate for it to be a little darker on the inside here. You see that okay? Sorry about that, guys. Gotta make sure you can see it. Anytime you can't see something, you tell me. I know that friendly neighborhood chick always tells me, hey, you're off camera. So we're all about making sure you guys can see. No, I say that in a good way. Like you're keeping me on task and making sure people can see what they need to see, you know? It's not a bad thing. There we go. A little darker on the inside, a little lighter behind here. Now our next step is to do a little touch up here on the back. And for this miniature, I've almost exclusively used Citadel Technical Nighthaunt Gloom. It creates a nice ghost-like effect. You got to go a little bit thin with it if you want to make it work really well. And that's generally speaking what I do. Go in, go real thin, layer up from there. It's not hard to go dark though, if you want to, but I want this to be a little bit thinner in some spots. I got some ghost effects a little too bright white where I don't want them to be, and I need to tone it down just a notch so it's blended a little better. But you can still see some white spots that are a little too white. It just doesn't look quite right. There we go. Tone that down just a smidge more. There we go. All right, now last bit. I'm going to put the stone at the bottom here. It is an ice blue. It's Hexwraith blue is specifically designed to create a translucent effect on white that almost looks ghostly. They have a green one called Hexwraith Flame, which is really good as well. I love using technical paints when they add to the miniature in a fun or a visual way that's hard to beat, right? And that's exactly what this does. There we go. A little bit of final touch up, and then we're going to put some gray on this base. Oh man. Take care, ever friendly neighborhood chick. I know 0530 is so early in the day for you. Okay, just to make this easier, I'm going to go ahead and mount this bad boy onto my paint handle here, and now I'm going to paint this on the gray. For that gray, I'm going to start with a dungeon gray, and then I'm going to work up to ash gray. Don't need very much because it's just the base. I didn't need to shake up the dungeon gray because I already shook it up and used it earlier today. So I still have plenty here to work with. What I have to be careful of is that I don't get any on the blue here in the wrong way or it won't look right. And it's almost impossible unless I get it off right away to fix it. So not usually something I want to do is fix stuff. I don't mind fixing stuff, you know, paint hides all sins. I'm used to doing that on a regular basis. But if you don't have to, especially this far in, it's better if you don't have to. What color greens do you think you're going to do on your dragon, Lucia? I mean, what are you thinking? Dark greens, light greens, combo greens? You want to paint it up more like a snake or more like a metallic? What are you going for there? Keenly interested. Inquiring minds want to know. I would love to know what you guys are thinking. By the way, our paint plans for how we paint everything eventually get loaded up to our Patreon. There's a whole bunch of paint plans right now for the miniatures that you've seen already. Check it out when you get a chance. And we also upload this stuff to YouTube, so you can see past miniatures paints as well as some of our guests who are amazing painters as well. Like 1 Inch Heroes or Luke Thomas, and some of those guys that have graced us with their presence. Midwest Miniatures guy, more than a few people. Scaly Hide, Wizard's Orb, and Angel Green. Okay, so those are 3 definite greens. Scaly Hide, Angel Green, and Wizard's Orb. Let me pull those. Wizard's Orb. Scaly Hide. Wizard's Orb is more of a blue-green, so the challenge is making those work. I'll be honest, those are some really tough greens to get to work together. So I have all 3. I'll put them in as best a tricolor order as I can. So this is dark green, this is Scaly Hide, or excuse me, Wizard's Orb, and this is Scaly Hide. So Angel Green, Scaly Hide, or Wizard's Orb, Scaly Hide, right? So when you're doing a dragon and you're using greens, you tend to go with a well, when you're doing anything, you do with a tricolor, right? So Scaly Hide is a great color, but I don't choose my colors of my dragon based on the name of the paint, so beware. Scaly Hide may look good on a crocodile as a highlight, but that doesn't mean it's going to look good on a dragon, right? Angel Green is a nice dark color. It could be good for a flat tone dragon as a base, and then you actually do your colors on top of that. And then Wizard's Orb could be good if you're trying to do something that's a little blue-green, like aqua kind of thing. but it's really a little too much blue in there. Depending on how you go, you could do, you know, angel green. This one was done in... Yeah, this one was done in Goblin Green, for example, right? So, to start, because I wanted to mid-tone, hit it with a wash, and then go up from there. I was going to hit it with a brown wash and then go with that. And keep it a little more earthy, snake-like, right? But in your case, with Angel Green, if you went with Scaly Hide, consider maybe these two to go with it. So that would be Elf Green and Moldy Clothes, right? Again, don't let the color of the paint name make you think that it's good for what you need to. The color is irrelevant. Just the ones you have right now? Okay, great. So look at Elf Green as your dark tone, Moldy Clothes as your mid-tone, and Scaly Hide as your highlight, right? So you start with this, go to this, and then very thinly put on a little Scaly Hide. That's a perfect tricolor combo. Well, not perfect, but it works really well, right? And then from there you hit it with a green wash, tones it right on down, makes the gradient real smooth. It's like cheating, but it's not. Just something to consider. And there's no rush, right? You can paint this dragon whenever you feel like. So you wait till you do have the colors that you're looking for, and then you go from there. You can see with the base now a much darker color. The ghost here looks a lot more, you know, it pops a lot more. And that dark area I may hit with Necromancer Cloak here next. Yeah, Necromancer Cloak is great on the inside because it's more of a shadowy, smoky gray. Oops, needs a little shaking. I'd love to get more dragons to paint too. I've got this one, and I just did a white one, like the very first show of that minis paint show. I showed how to paint up a white dragon in like 2 hours. And, it was kind of a lot of fun to do. There we go. That Necromancer Cloak is a little bit like a really dark ashy gray, and so when you put that over black, it really tones down that edge. Now it's a little shiny right now because it's still wet, but once it dries, it's gonna look really good. Next week, you can see them probably a little bit further back here. I've got 6 little dogs, right? And next week we'll have a thing where you can bid to paint to get me to paint one of the dogs a color of your choice. So really a great way to force me to paint a dog a strange color. here. I want to have a full set of dragons, but I started with green because I have a green dragon in my character backstory. Yeah, why not start with what you already have a passion for? Why not start with what works for you? All right, Alicia? Alrighty, we got about 10 minutes left. Hopefully that stone dries nice and neat. Looks like I'm going to be doing quite a bit of palette cleaning here tonight as well. So it's always a good sign that you've done a lot of good stuff when you've got a lot of palette cleaning to do. So. Ooh. Let's see here. Plate mail, weapon bronze. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. A whole lot of good stuff happened today. Stone Golem and Dungeon Gray as well. So I'm putting these forward because I got to write up the paint plan for this almost immediately following so we don't lose it. And then get stuff loaded. We're going to have a bunch of pictures tonight, probably for tomorrow, to show on social media. So, cool stuff, cool stuff. And again, everything is going to show up on YouTube, so if you're looking for YouTube videos of the things that we paint, you know where to go, because I just dropped the link in chat. But you can go on to YouTube and just type in The Games Tavern, and you'll find us right away. Let's see here. I'm also taking suggestions for future painting. When you support the Games Tavern Patreon on the paint tier, the models and minis tier, that keeps us in miniatures and paint that we can then show you how to use. A little bit goes a long way, so every little bit counts, and we're very, very careful with that to make sure we're not wasting anything. So you guys can ask us how to do stuff, and we will do it for you on stream. So. Let us do the testing for you before you do anything with it. So, should I do more Duergar next week, zombies next week, or should I do a hero or more orcs? I'd love to know your thoughts. A hero. Kerr, good to see you, man. Good to see you. How's it going? Okay, a hero. So, should it be a... Maybe it should be this guy. He looks good. He's got 2 swords. I think he's got a shield strapped to his back. Nope, just a backpack. No, there's a shield there. Shield strapped to his back. He's pretty weathered. He's got quite the beard. Looks pretty angry. Probably the perfect choice. Is that something that seems like about right? Or would you prefer this elf guy? Which do you think it should be? The elf has got a longbow. He's got an elven sword, long sword. He's looking pretty fierce. You like the 2 swords guy? All right, Kerr. All right, Lucia. Thank you for helping me out. We're gonna do 2 swords guy next. I don't remember his name. I'll figure out if he's got a name, but he definitely is going to be somebody who's going to look really good when we get done with him. So that's our next guy. Alrighty, I'm putting him forward. Expect some awesome. In the meantime, what else are you guys working on? Dual wielding swords is pretty cool. Yeah, this cat is not joking either, because these are 2 long swords, I think. These aren't short swords. He's there to create problems. He aims to misbehave. And he's still got a dagger on his hip. I'll have to prime him. I gotta figure out a color I'm gonna prime him though. Do I prime him white? Do I prime him black? Do I prime him with a base color that I'll use the most? Loaded with weaponry. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's what these guys are. Is he a fighter, a ranger? Probably a fighter. Yeah, probably a fighter. He's got armor on. Looks like plate. He's there to, you know, shred some bad guys. So, with that in mind, any final questions before we start to wrap up for the evening? I cannot thank you guys enough for being here. Anything worth doing is worth doing over. That's Chaotic Neutral's #1 motto. You know, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys being here. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Let's see here. Do we got anybody we can raid tonight? Let's see what we got here. What's on the raid list? Doesn't look like there's much out there that for people that we're associated with. Hold on one second. You know what? There is somebody we can go raid. They could use some love. So we're gonna go raid Odd Lot D&D. They definitely need some lovin'. So when you get a chance, give them some lovin'. I'm gonna hit the end screen here. I love you guys. See you guys next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time that is, UK summertime, but you know, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And then also tomorrow, Monday, is Dirty Deeds, which starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And I don't know what time that is GMT, but you guys should definitely check them out because they are amazing. It's one of the best shows we got. So take care, everybody. We'll get that raid started.